Um, Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you're all well. Morning, everyone. Morning, Jean. Morning, Minder. It's really nice to see, as I was saying before, so many familiar faces. I've obviously been off for a while from CSC, so it's really nice to be back, and this is a really great thing to come back to, a network forum so that we can all come together and have discussions about things that impact our work. We've got a couple of slides, so Ellie, if you're able to start sharing those, thank you. So today we're going to be looking at building trust on the street. So just before I get started, just a couple of housekeeping bits in terms of trying to make sure the session runs as smoothly as possible today. So as I mentioned before, if everybody could have their microphones on mute just as we're talking. Oh, sorry, the slides have disappeared. Do you want me to share them, Ellie? Or?
No, it's fine. It's just because it's not PowerPoint. It's playing up.
Okay. No worries. So we are going to have lots of opportunities for questions in between the presentations and before we go into breakout groups. But as I mentioned before, if everybody would like to introduce themselves to other participants through the chat box, and you can also use that if you've got any technical questions, or if there are any useful resources or links that you'd like to share, you can pop them in there. We've also got a hashtag that we're using, hashtag CSC Network Forum 2022. So please do share on there any kind of interesting things that come out of the sessions or anything that you'd like to put up on the socials. You would have seen when you joined that the session's being recorded. If you're not comfortable with it being recorded, you can leave the session and we're going to send everything out afterwards so that everybody can have access to the session recording. So if you need to leave early or you've joined late, then that will get sent out afterwards. So don't worry about having missed anything. Obviously, with the caveat that the breakout sessions won't be included in that. So it will just be the main presentation. So the breakout sessions will be separate. And those are the main kind of housekeeping bits, but as I say, if you have any issues or anything that's not working for you, just drop us a message in the chat box. We've got quite a few members of staff on the call who can help you out. And again, thank you everyone so much for joining. It's really, we've got quite a few people joined already, and that might ramp up as we get going. So I'm really pleased that this is a topic that's obviously spoken to quite a lot of people. And we're going to be looking today at building trust. So something that's really crucial in working with street connected children. We're looking at what trustworthy relationships look like, what they mean to us, and what it means to have a trustworthy adult in our lives, and what the kind of crucial role that plays in working with street connected children, and particularly for frontline workers, so that they can build and maintain relationships with the children that they're supporting. And it's going to be something that we're going to be focusing on quite a bit going forward following the merger, which I'm sure many of you know about, hopefully all of you know about, between CSC and Street Invest. We're going to have a really strong focus on street work and kind of cultivating and sharing promising practice within the sector. So this session is a really nice opportunity for us to come together and think about a core aspect of street work and look at how different organisations are approaching building trust with the children and young people that they're working with and the different communities that they're working in. So we've got a couple of speakers today. I'm really pleased to introduce you to them. We've got Seema Syed, who's the Director of Operations, Monitoring and Research at Gram Bangla Unnayan Committee in Bangladesh. And she's going to be speaking to us today about the work that Gram Bangla have been doing with the waste picking community on a Macho landfill site, which is near Dhaka. And then hopefully we're going to have Hawa Issa, who's the head of street work at Muslim Family and Counselling Services in Ghana. I know that she was having transport difficulties, so she might be joining us a bit later, but hopefully we'll be able to hear from her. And she'll be speaking about their work with street connected girls in Kumasi. So two really different perspectives. So it'd be really interesting to hear from both of those. And then, as I said, following the presentations, we're going to have a chance for any questions to the speakers before we go into breakout groups. So I'm going to hand over to Seema, who'll be going through her presentation. and then we'll be hearing hopefully from Howard afterwards. So over to you, Seema.
Thank you, Jessica, and thank you everyone for coming today and give us the opportunity to share our experiences on the trust building with the West Picker community. Next slide, please. West Picker community are the most marginalized community, one of the most marginalized community in Bangladesh. The research says that almost 1,20,000 women and children are earning their living on the West Picker, on West Picking. West Picking is the business where some people collect the waste from the dump site, from the street, or from the household, and they sell them, and thus they earn their livelihood. This is very, very risky and dangerous and also hazardous work. And in Mathwail, this the largest sanitary landfill area of Bangladesh is situated, and there almost or over 2,500 waste pickers are earning their livings on that from that dump site. They collect the waste materials from the dump site and they sell them for recycling, and thus they earn their livelihood. Next slide, please. We have been working with this community since 2008. And since in 2008, when the Gram Bangla team went there, they found that a very common picture in that Mathwail community, that early morning, one or two women, several women are entering the dump site, and 3 to 5 children are following each woman, and they are also entering the dump site. And when we talked with them, we found that these women are the single mothers, and they do not have anyone else in their family who can take care of their children. And as their children are too young to take care of themselves, they also take their children with them to the dump site so that they can be in front of their eyes. That's why and that's how the children also get used to with that kind of work, because at first, when the children are too young, they sometimes play with the waste materials or in the dump site, and when they and after a while they start picking the waste from the dump site and start selling. When they get some money from by selling those materials, gradually they also become the waste pickers. And from by talking with them, we found that there is no safe place where the women can keep their children. There is no school facility. There is no opportunity to develop the skill for the alternative livelihood. And the women waste picker do not have any relationship with any formal financial institute, and they are not aware about their basic entitlements or the rights. Next slide, please. After that, in order to improve the situation of this community, especially the children and the women of Mathwail sanitary landfill area, Gram Bangla Unnayan Committee started working, especially with the children and with the women. And our total number of beneficiaries is 2,500. Among them, 1,271 are the direct beneficiaries who are children. Among them, in last from 2008 to 2022, total 483 children who were from the age of 6 to 11 years, they received primary education from Gram Bangla School. 406 children aged 3 to 11 years old received the daycare facilities, and 382 adults and children aged 14 to 17 years received vocational training. Next slide, please. In order to give them the support, Gram Bangla took several initiatives. The major initiatives were Gram Bangla Daycare Center, primary school, technical and vocational training center, and we also facilitated to form the self-help group of the women. And then we also give them health support by establishing Gram Bangla Health Center. And we also facilitated to make their own big association, that is Bangladesh West Speaker Union. And also with the support of them, we did some advocacy activities. Next slide, please. Now, we are going to tell you how we build the trust among this community. This was not a one-day task. It took several years, I must say, to build the trust. And to build the trust, at first, our team just did the transit work. They just walked in the community, talked with the people without any specific agenda. We just tried to talk with them. We spent time in the local tea stall or the other community places and talked with them. Then, by talking with them, we identified some local community leaders among their community, like who have the leadership quality among themselves. And then we tried to listen their problems. Like at the beginning, I shared their problems. All those problems were identified by talking with them. Then we also went for the appropriate solution, because if we give them the design that, yes, you have this kind of problem and we are going to give you this solution, so that would not work out. That's why we asked them that exactly what do they want. We did it in the and we used the participatory approach to find out the appropriate solution for them. Then we also encouraged the community engagement in the project activities. When we started the school, the preschool project in Matwai area, then we appointed the caregiver from their own community, whom they trust, so that we can also have a good communication with the community people. And then we made a good relationship with the local influentials, like the local imams. Imams are the religious leader. Then the local administrative representatives, then the school teachers, and also the other influentials or the philanthropists. Then we tried to provide support when it is needed. Yes, as the development worker, we believe that they can change, they can make a change in their own life. We believe that, but sometimes they have some limitations and they also want the external support. And when they need support, if we just stay calm and do not support them, then no trust will be built. That's why, like, I can give you one example, that once a boy had an accident in the dump site and he lost his leg, and the treatment cost was too high, and most of the community people collected the money for his treatment, but after that they had some shortage and they need the other help also. Then Gram Bangla intervened, stepped into that thing. And we also provided vocational training to that child so that he can make a good, a decent life. That's why we gave the vocational training to that child. And also during the COVID, when they could not enter into the dump, and did not have any food in their house, we gave them the food support, because during that time, no other thing can help them. They needed food during that time. So we make them, we try to make them feel that we are always there for you to support. We are always not only to see and to see what is going on, but we are also there for supporting you. The other thing is household visits. We did frequent household visit to have good communication with the community people and also with the children. Then we made a good relationship with the parents. In the in our school, in every 3 months, we have the parents meeting. And during that time, the parents are also invited. The parents are invited to have the discussion and share their feelings and their feedback. So this mechanism is very useful, and encouraging the participation of parents in the project activities. They also, like I shared about the self-help group, and most of the members of the self-help group are also the parents of the children with who are related to our different activities. Like maybe they are the mothers of the school children, student, or the or maybe they are the trainees of the technical and vocational training center. This is something like that. Next slide, please. And we had some challenges to build the trust. Number one challenge was the migration, because these people have come from the other side of Bangladesh, and always they keep changing their living place. Maybe some this time they are living in Mathwail, and we have very good relationship with them. But maybe the next day we will not find them. Again, we will have to make relationship with the other people. So this kind of problem we have faced. Then mistrust among the community. In that community, people have come from different places of Bangladesh, and sometimes they do not trust each other. And if they do not trust each other, then it is very difficult for them to trust some outsider like us. So this is another problem. And overthinking about the benefits. They always think that you have come this place and you are trying to work with us, then what will be our benefit? Before doing something, they always think about their benefit. So that is one other challenges. One of the other challenges, and the lack of hope and dream. They are facing extremely, what should I say, very difficult life. And it is really very difficult to think anything very good or think about the hope or dream in this situation. One of the children of that community told us that I have no dream, because their life is only about their dump site. That's why it is very difficult to talk with them about any changes or about any initiatives. So this is one of the challenges. Next slide, please. And now we found that most effective ways to build trust. First of all, showing respect and empathy. We have seen that some of our development workers have some kind of negative thinking about the poor. Some of us think that, yes, oh yes, he is poor, that means he must need something from us, or maybe they are dishonest, they do something which is not legal or something like that. But, or maybe if we give them money, they will waste it, they will do gambling or this and that. But this is disrespectful, we found that, because poor people know very well how to do the best use of money. That's we found. That's why we have to show the respect, and we'll have to have respect towards the poor people, and also the empathy, not the sympathy, but empathy. And ensuring the participation of beneficiaries in the design process. If we go with them with our ideas that for your development, we are going to this, we are going to that, we are going to do that, maybe that will not work. We will have to ask them what do really they want for the change. And doing program-based work rather than project-based work. Most of the time, when we have the project, when we have the fund, we work with them. Once the project is done, we just come back from that community. We do not keep any relationship. But this is not trustworthy thing, of course. That's why we will have to go with program-based. Once we make any relationship with one community, we will have to maintain that. And maintaining regular communication and be there when you need them. Like I will give the example again of during Corona. During Corona, we did not have, our school was not open, our training center was not open, but regularly we used to call them and ask them how are they doing. And when we heard that no, they do not have, right now they have no income, they have no food, they have lots of debts and other things, then for a long time, we gave the food support during that time. And then they felt that, yes, they are always there for us. And next slide, please. And this is one of the quote from our West speaker mother, who has two children, and they stay in our daycare center. And she shared it with us. In the early morning, I just drop my children at school and become tension-free, as I know that my children are in safe hands. So it shows that how a mother shows her trust on us, that the most precious thing of her life, that is her two children, they keep us in our school, and she becomes tension-free. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Seema. It's really great to hear from you. And there's so much in there that we can kind of think a bit more about when we go into the breakout groups and having the discussions. And I think you've really kind of struck on that point that the work it really is long term. And it's that kind of that really struck me when you were talking about kind of being program based rather than project based, and the whole idea of building trust. It is a long-term project, it is long-term work, and it's something that's often the kind of tension in the sector of trying to do project work, but that requires such a long period of time to make it work. So thank you, Seema, that was really good to hear from you. I think we have Hawa now, Tijani. I can only see the
hello,
edge of your
good
screen.
Morning.
Hi.
Hawa has been able to join us before.
Great.
So
thank you.
Yeah, but the agreement is that I will start with about MFCS, and she will go into the actual building trust. So we go to the next. Here we're talking about our organization, the Muslim Family Counseling Services. It's here we call it Not for Profits, which is a charitable organization in Ghana. And we're seeking to improve issues of health, socioeconomic well-being of the poor and underserved in communities through participatory training, advocacy, development, and all those things. But most importantly, we seek to work with other organizations in partnership to deliver some of these programs and services. We've been working on the streets of Kumasi since 2013, and we've reached out to a lot of young people. We built a lot of relationships with them. And in 2017, now CSC, that used to be Street Invest, we were the regional coordinating partners for Street Invest, where we are building a global alliance for street work. It's an alliance of organizations that are promoting street-based working with young people. Yeah. Next. So the project we're talking about is somewhere in 2020, as part of the program partnership, we identified that the voices of young people on the street themselves is very critical. And so it's better to build their capacity for them to lead the advocacy agenda, and that carries much more weight. And so that program we call Street Champions under that partnership. Next. And the aim of it is to give these young people the opportunity so that they can directly participate in decisions and programs and policies that affect their lives. Because duty bearers, government agencies, and the international spheres, decisions are being taken, programs are being carried out that impact on the lives of these children. And it's important that their voice and their opinions, because when talking about child-centeredness, is their opinions and voices must be relevant to the discussion. And so any opportunities has to be given to them to be able to contribute to the discussion. And so that's the aim of the project. Go next. So what we do is that we pick some of these young people from the streets who act as representative of the larger children in street situations. And they are trained, they are supported, and their capacity is built so that they can be able to make meaningful contributions when opportunity is created for them to have the face-to-face interactions with duty bearers and where those decisions are being taken. Next. Next. So we are located in Kumasi, and we currently in our group of street champions, even though we started with a bigger group, but as the presentation goes, you see how it came to 12 young people. So currently we have 12 girls aged between 14 and 18 years who are the core group of this, our street champion. So I will let Hawa continue from there here.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Hawa Wisa. Next page. Okay, we use a lot of approaches, but number one is one-on-one discussion with the street connected children. Example is when you go to the street, you cannot go and gather a group of people. You have to start one by one because they actually goes to the market early in the morning, around 5 a.m. So by 9 to 10, you will see them, they are a little bit relaxed. So that time, if you go to the streets, they will have time with you, but you cannot get a number of them. You will get them one by one, sitting at their corner, resting and the rest. So we started one-on-one discussion. As time goes on, we gather them for a focus group discussion on the street. Okay, focus group discussion on the street. That place, we were able to understand them and talk to them about things affecting them on the streets. So they will also tell us what is going on the streets, how the market women and men bully them and the rest. After that, we were able to also gather some small groups to discuss their situation with them. Under the smaller group, we were able, that's why we were able to form the street champions. Next. Okay. We were able to maintain trust with the street connected children because we always follow up on our promises. Example is if we want to have a discussion with them, we give them time. They will also assure us that if exactly, let me set this example. If it is, we want to meet them at 9 a.m. They will also suppose that why not 10? Because at 10 o'clock, they are free so that we can talk. So always we follow on our promises. We also show our concern on things affecting them. Example is, I quite remember we went to the street with one of my colleagues. And they started to talk about the market women and men. They say when they sit on the front of their stores, sometimes they won't allow them to sit there, or they won't allow them to carry their goods because they say they always insult them or what. So we went there and talked to them and talked to the market women and men to create an environment for the streets connected children to also have some space to rest and the rest. We also listen to them carefully because, they don't want interaction when they are talking. So if you want to build a trust between you and the street child, you have to be a good listener. You always sit there, listen to them. When it is time for you to talk, then you have to talk. Next. In the beginning, it wasn't easy, but in the beginning, it wasn't easy. The first contact with them is on the streets. If you want to meet them, you have to go straight on the streets. So we continue the relationship on the street until they are able to trust us. So they follow us to our center. When you have discussion, we discuss it with them. They also see us as the rights holders. They see us as the rights holders. They have the right to participate in what they are doing, and we make sure that their opinions are factored into any activities being implemented. You can't just go and force them to do what you want. So we always interact with them, shows them that they also have the rights. Because one of them last time told me that if they have problem, they cannot go to the police station. And I asked them why. They say they are afraid of the police. You can see that they don't know that they also have the right to go and complain to the police when they have problem. So this focus group discussion and other things also help them to know that they also have the right to go to the police and implement and tell them what is affecting them on the streets. Also, if you want to build a trust with the street connected children, you have to be open. So when you have to be open, give them the opportunity to express their opinions, and also give them avenues to create for them to actively participate in their process. It takes time, so you give them the opportunity to also express their feelings and the rest. And also, you have to be patient and consistent. It's not easy. If you are not patient, you will stop. If you stop the street, like because I quite remember I went to the streets when we were talking. Okay, I already have a street connected with. I've already built a relationship with the street child. So when we were talking, there's another street child sitting behind me. He said, "Hey, where are you going? Are you going to follow her? Do you know her?" And the other street connected child said, "Yes, you don't know this woman. She's Hawa. She always come here to ask us about our problems and the rest." So you see, if you are not patient, exactly you will leave and you will not get what you want. It takes time. Okay. Yes, next. Challenges we are facing on the street is a lot. One is they may not be open with you in the beginning because of their past experience. Because when I started going to the field, they told me that that's what they always do. Because you know, you have a lot of people doing street work. They will come to the street, collect their data, they will not see them again. So they started to say, "Hey, you two, you have came here again. You want to get our names and go and get money. You won't follow and see what we are going to." And I say, "Oh no, we are from different organizations. We do different things apart from what the other street workers are doing. So we are not the same." So it takes time. We face that challenge, but now it's okay. I think it's okay. And also shadows of the children. Sometimes it's become a challenge to have a conversation because of the children's shadow. They may delay the shadow. Example is, you know, they have the time they rest on the streets. So if you want to have some discussion with them, you have to look at their time. If the time will not suit them, they won't allow you to talk. So it takes time. We face that challenges, but we are okay with that because if they are free, they sometimes come to our office to discuss what we want to discuss with them. And also movement of the children. The movement, they are not stable. Today they are here, another time they are there. It depends on the market, because if they know that today, if they go to this place, they will get job, they will move. They will move exactly, they won't stay there. But if you know that today, if I go to this place, I'll get small job to do, why not stay here? But if they think it won't be able to get what they want, because you know, they also pay bills, they have to pay for their rooms, their lights, and even the place they shower, they have to pay. So if the market is not moving, they have to move. So movement of the children also affects our work, but we are managing. And also, next. Okay, because of the past experience, as I was saying, they have a lot of people who came on the field to talk about street work and the rest. They will gather the data, they will go, they will not come back. So this is also our challenges, because they know when we also come, we will go and we are not able to come back and do as we say, but it's a little bit okay because we are managing. Next. Ways to be successful in building trust with the children on the streets. I think language is the most important. For instance, I was able to build a trust with the children because I understand their language, because most of them are from the north and my mother is from the north, so I understand their language. So they see me as one of them. So me, when I go to the street, I don't face challenges with their language because I speak the language they speak, so I'm okay with that. But most of other street workers face the challenges of languages because they may not be able to understand their language. That makes it difficult for them to work with the street connected children. But for me, it's okay. Understanding them is the key. Building an understanding relationship with a clear object that both of you are aware and comfortable. So if you want to build a trust with the street connected, you have to understand them. And the relationship, you have to look at the relationship. You have to know what you want. And also you have to be careful. you have to be careful when you are building, when you have to be careful when understanding them, because you see, also be sensitive to their culture and tradition. Example is, you know, in the North, women are not supposed to talk in front of men. So when you are discussing issue with them, even though they want to talk, but if a man is facilitating, it will be a challenge for them to talk. So sometimes when Tijani is facilitating the session, I have to come in. Not that they don't want to hear what Tijani is talking, but the issue is their culture don't allow them to speak in front of a male. So it's also difficult, but you also don't have to be a judgmental, because I quite remember I went to the streets. I saw a little girl. She's between 13 to 14 years, and she's pregnant. Even though I saw it, I didn't ask her anything. So when we finished talking, and I went to our family house in the market. I didn't even saw her. She called me, Hawa. And I turned back and she said, hey, I'm going to my village next week. And I said, oh, why? She said, I'm pregnant. You see, even though I saw it, I didn't ask her anything, because you have to be careful. I know they are my people, you know, my mother is from the North. Some of this issue is a challenge for them. You don't have to peer your nose into their toe. You don't have to be a judgmental person. Next. Okay, my advice I would like to give, the advice I would like to give to other organizations for building trust is the consistency. That one helped us, because when we started the street work, they all say like, oh, you will go, you will not come back. But as time goes on, they see us that we always come to the street, talk to them, also help them with their issues. So they begin to trust us and know that these people are considered. They always come on the street, because you also have to be transparent on what you want to achieve with the relationship. So if you are transparent in what you want to achieve with the relationship, they will also follow you, and the trust will go on. Build a capacity with them. So when we build a relationship, we started to have a focus group. We started to invite them into to our office. So even when we don't have anything to discuss, they always pass here, talk to us, they greet us. They always come here and sleep. If they want to rest, they come here. Adapt. Okay, we also adapt the pace of the child. Adapt to the pace of the child. When we are doing the discussion, we do it at the right time, and we have to do it small. You know, they have a lot of things in their head. You cannot just combine everything in one day. So you have to cut them short so that they will understand what you want to discuss with them.
Thank you. Or should I want to say something small about the last slide, just to sum it up. And as she said, I think the earlier presentation even made this point, like being consistency, and the fact that you don't have to see building trust or relationships as just a project that should end at any point in time. The relationship has to take time, and you have to be consistent on what you are doing in order to gain the trust. And then transparency, of course, as we said, when we go to the field, sometimes they think that what has happened before with other organizations who come and then we make some promises and then they think, but when you are with them, you have to let them understand what your intentions are, what you are doing. Ours is just to build the relationships. Eventually, there are other interventions that are come. There are a lot of things that could happen as the relationship go on, but you don't have to entice them with certain things that you, in order to seek relationship with them, eventually that will not work. And then the capacity, as we said, if you understand that there is a need to build your capacity to be able to contribute to the relationship building, then you address it with them. You work with them. They tell you what they think should be done, and then you together sit down and then discuss how you can do, what are your capacities, what can you do to in that situation, and what they can also contribute, and then adapt to the pace of the child. As we saying, sometimes or a lot of times, for instance, in what we do, even though there is we are building a relation, we expect that by this time they are able to do one or two things. We don't really, for instance, if a child is lagging behind, is not able to catch up, we don't initially say, oh, these are the groups that are able to do, then we move with them. We create opportunity. So even the one who has difficulty in understanding the concepts, we create opportunity. Sometimes we work with Power and the rest, those who are local with them. And then we meet at different settings. Sometimes we have to go to where they live and sit with them gradually. And then sometimes when they come to the office or the center, and then sometimes also we go onto the streets, and then in order to ensure that we carry all of them across, because we believe that all of them have experiences that they can share with us. And so for example, in the beginning, we had quite a number of children who are, sorry for that one. So in the beginning, we have quite a number of children, but sometimes they move from one place to the other. Some of them keep how do you call it, contact with us. They contact us from time to time. They tell us what they are doing and where they are. But we don't really force them to be at one place, or we want you to achieve this. And so I think these are some of the things that are important in building trust with these children. The questions we can.
Thank you, Tijani, and thank you so much, Howard. It was really great to hear from you both, and that it's really interesting that there are so many commonalities in the challenges. One of the kind of key things that you both, Howard and Seema, touched on was the movement on the migration of the children and young people and their families that you're working with, and how that really can make it difficult to build these long-term relationships of trust, and the mistrust that the communities have, you know, of people coming to work with them and asking for their information, and then not maintaining that kind of consistency and being there and going where they are. I'm conscious that we've ran over time, as is often the case. We've had two really great presenters, so I wanted to kind of let them run and hear a bit more from what you guys are saying. And I can see in the chat we've had some really good discussions around different challenges and some questions from a couple of different people, but it looks like if some of the questions that were directly asked of the presenters have already been answered. There is a question here by Daniel that I thought would be interesting to raise and ask Howard and Seema if you had any thoughts on this. He asked if a street worker or anyone working with street connected children has broken the trust of someone a child that they've been working with. What techniques have been used to rebuild that relationship? I don't know if Howard or Seema, you had anything that you wanted to answer to that.
So I think you were asking that, have we got any experience that they had the trust on us, but that trust was broken, and then what we did? Is it
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
In reality, no, we have not experienced that kind of thing yet, because we always try to maintain the relationship with the entire community. Like I said before, that we started working with the West Picker community since in 2008, and before that we had the relationship with the Bede community, who are the river gypsies, and still we are maintaining that relationship. We never left them. Whatever we have the fund or not, we were always with them. Maybe someone is thinking that maybe we are making them dependent on us, but it's not like that. We always try to facilitate their thinking. But sometimes, yes, I said, I made one quote that we have to make the feel that we are always there for you. It doesn't mean that, yes, we will do everything for you, because we have made that thing very clear to them at the very beginning that it is not possible for us to make everything for you all the time. And we always try to understand what is their need and what they can do. And we always try to facilitate this, the thing. But I gave two examples, like when there is the lockdown due to COVID-19 and they do not have income, they do not have anything, there the facilitation will not work. In that cases, we will need the direct intervention. And if we think during that time, no, we do not have fund, we cannot step into that phase, and we will keep quiet, then the trust will be broken. And they will start thinking that, no, they are not with us when we actually needed them. That kind of thing will happen. But we never did something like that. We always try to be in the emergencies. We stepped into the emergencies, but always we try to facilitate. Like I can give another example, that the river gypsies, they always move, they are always on the moving. They are not static people. Like out of 12 months, 9 months, they live in the boat and they roam around the entire country, and also they cross the border and go to India. They do not have education. And then we had the dialogue, because it is not possible for us to teach them or give them the education. Then we asked them that what you exactly want, how can you receive the education? Then they said that maybe if we have one teacher with us all over the year, then it will be happened. But it is not possible for us to become a gypsy like them and become the teacher. Then what we did, we trained 1, 2 within their flotilla who had the graduation, and we appointed them as the teachers of their own. And those teachers also used to move with them. So this kind of thing we did, that what they need, we responded according to their need. We did not design anything by our own. And during the emergencies, when nothing can be happened by them, then we stepped them and went to the direct intervention. That's how we always try to have the balance. That's why they never ever, yes, at the beginning, they have some over expectations from us, but gradually when they come to know us, and then they also understand that what we can do and what they can get from us.
Great, thank you, Sima.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I can see that we've still had some really rich discussion as well in the chat, but I think in the interest of time, we really wanted to go into the breakout groups so that we can have some smaller group discussions, and we've got a couple of activities just to kind of continue the conversation and thinking about trustworthy relationships. So I'm going to start the breakout rooms now. There's just a couple of different activities that we wanted to go through, and it's mainly kind of a facilitated discussion to get people thinking a bit more about what it means and what it looks like to have a trustworthy adult in their lives. So everybody's been assigned to a group. So I think I'll set up the groups now, and you just click to join the group once it comes up on your screen. And then we'll come back from the groups at 20 past. So we'll have 20 minutes in the discussion groups, and then we can come back and the facilitators can share some of the kind of key points that have come out from the groups that you've been in, and then we'll kind of close and we kind of any final questions at that point. So I'll open those everyone now. Welcome back. I think people are slowly rejoining. I think there might be one group that's
Thank you very much.
back.
Yeah, we are back.
Great.
Yeah, thank you. We are back.
I hope that everybody found those discussions interesting. I know that it's a really kind of important topic, and so many of the people on the call have really different experiences of building trust.
So many experience sharing, and the time is very limited. Couldn't go
Yes.
through all the things.
Yeah, always the case.
Very important things being shared.
Yeah.
Yes, not only interesting, but it was also a sort of learning sharing session, you know. Like
Yeah.
my colleague said, the only time was limited.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a topic that we could probably do like a couple of days workshop on. So I think it was really just aimed as an introduction to get people thinking about it. But I completely agree. There's so much to unpack, and just from the presentations and the speakers that we had, so many different challenges and so many things that we can share and learn from each other. But I hope as an entry point into this topic, it's been interesting for everybody. I don't know, I mean, we've got 8 minutes left. We could hear from the 4 different breakout groups just kind of one key thing that came out from your discussion, and I can start. So from ours, we had there was lots of different words that came up. So there weren't any that there weren't people that all had the same thoughts in terms of the key thing that they think of when they think of a trustworthy relationship and what can cause them to break down, which in and of itself was really interesting. And one of the key things that came out of ours was the idea that a trustworthy relationship is really born from kind of being genuine and truly listening to each other and being clear about what the relationship is about. And that was something that was really key to the idea of kind of building trust with Street Connected Children and street work, that they know what your relationship is. They know that if you've got a specific project or a program, what that is and how long it will be for, and what the aims and the goals are, so that it doesn't feel like an extractive relationship, and it's not something that they're not quite sure why you're in their lives and then you're gone. But you're really honest about what you're trying to achieve, and as a way of building trust with the communities that you're working with. I don't know if people from the other breakout groups wanted to share one of the kind of key things that came out from their discussions. Stephen or Lauren, do you want to go first?
Yeah, thanks, Jess. So yeah, we also talked a lot about the character of the interpersonal relationships, in particular the importance of things like honesty, respect, and body language, and showing obvious concern. But we also had a really interesting discussion as well, kind of in line with what you were saying about communication and how there can be barriers in terms of dialect in certain situations, but that a key way to sort of counter those problems might be to adapt the way that we communicate with Street Connected Children, and adapt in particular a vernacular that is understood by Street Connected Children in order to sort of build that trustworthy relationship.
Great, thank you. Sean?
Sorry, the cat.
Oh, hello.
I knew he'd make an appearance. So we spoke about transparency in our session, and the importance of when you're building trust with Street Connected Children and communities on the street, not over-promising. and making sure that they understand kind of why you're there, what you're there to, you know, support them with, but also not putting yourself in a position to be what I would refer to as just another adult that's let them down. So making sure that you're really transparent about the role of street workers. Also, we had some input from Claire from Apprenti around involving street connected children in advocacy. How do we do that with children without requiring that they're coming to a centre and doing it in a centre? How can you ensure the participation of children while they are on the street? And we also talked about managing expectations, not just at the level of the child, but also at the level of the community around the scale of support you can offer, but also whether or not there is material support available. So being really clear about that. One thing that came up as well was, how do we build a trusted relationship and engage children when there may be another organisation on the street who is providing material support? And if you're a street worker who's not providing, for example, school fees or food or anything else, how do you ensure that those communities engage with you and make them see the value in the support you are offering, whether that's psychosocial support or practical support?
Great, thank you. Anasi, Tijani, one of the kind of key things that came out from your discussion?
Yeah, thank you very much. Some of the key things that came up in our group has to do with things around communication, some of the things that are very essential in building relationships, and the communication, respect, and then giving showing positive attitudes to the relationship, and also be supportive. And issues about misunderstanding, exploitation, and mistrust and double standards are some of the key factors identified as building, or how should I say, breaking the trust in the relationships. And so the conversation goes to, first of all, understanding that the trust building relationship is not easy, it's not a straightforward, it's not a short-term thing. It takes time, and then people in the relationship, you have to understand that it's not something that we should look for quick results. And also, there were people think that you have to have a good listening ear to be able to facilitate the trust building processes. And one key thing that also came up strongly is that you have to ensure that the trust is not broken. And so the relationship has to be open, and then the objectives of the relationship or building relationship known clearly to all, so that you are careful not to break the trust, because it is understood that if the trust is broken, once the trust is broken, it might not be easy to build it. And maybe once it's broken, for the rest, you cannot rebuild it. And so conscious efforts should be made to ensure that that trust is not broken. And so, I think that's basically the summary of our group presentation. Yeah.
Great, thank you, Tijani. We've come to the end of the session now, and I think there's been so much rich discussion, and as everyone's kind of pointed out, it's such a big topic, so it'd be really great to stay in touch with everybody and continue those conversations.